There you see the sights and the sounds at the Capitol today as loggers and truck drivers continue to protest the cap and trade bill, even though it has now been declared dead. That group is supporting the Republican senators now on day 8 of their walkout as the clock counts down continually to Sunday's end of the session. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Haggerty. Now, just a couple of hours ago, Democrats once again they tried to call this session into order and had to adjourn because there were not enough members. That's been the story so far. KGW's Morgan Romero in Salem for us, tracking today's developments. Morgan.
Dan, the Senate again recessed quickly for the 8th day in a row without a quorum, as Republican senators are still MIA. There's a lot of pressure to finish business because the legislature is constitutionally required to wrap things up by Sunday night. Meanwhile, I'm told Republican and Democratic leaders are in talks over what it's unclear right now. And earlier, right here outside the Capitol today, a very stark contrast from what's going on inside the Capitol. For hours, loggers, truckers, and farmers from across Oregon and surrounding states were here rallying, honking their horns, which you heard a little bit ago, and driving laps out front. Thousands of rural Oregonians wanted to make sure their despise for House Bill 2020, known as cap and trade, was heard loud and clear. It's a sweeping climate bill that would cap carbon emissions and charge polluters. Ralliers say it would be devastating for rural communities and kill jobs. Now, while they're not at work in Salem, supporters of the senators told me this is what they elected their lawmakers to do.
Personally, I hope they don't come back because I believe there's a lot of legislation on the table that I don't agree with.
Do you want your senators to come back before the deadline?
No, I do not. I want them to stay gone. They have to stay gone. Kate Brown said this in 2001. Sometimes the only tool you have left, and it's totally appropriate to walk. That's what our legislators are doing now.
A lot of passion coming from her, but a couple days ago, Senate President Peter Courtney announced House Bill 2020 is dead. He said Dems don't have enough votes in their own party even to pass it through. Republicans are uneasy, though, and don't believe it's over. They want any carbon bill to be sent to the voters. They also said in a statement, despite rumors, no deal has been made. We know a number of the senators have been hiding out in Idaho because the state isn't helping return them to Oregon. And today, Senator Tim Knopp told KHQ-TV in Spokane, Washington, Republicans want a negotiated bipartisan settlement, and he's optimistic that'll happen in the next few days.
We're continuing to engage with our constituents through email, through social media, and we are awaiting negotiations that are going on. We're in contact with fellow senators on a regular basis, once or twice daily, and so we're hopeful that the end is in sight, but not yet.
While the Oregon 11, as they're being called, are gone from Salem, more than 100 bills are still on the table here. And today, the House canceled session because they didn't have anything on their plate, thanks to the Senate being basically shut down. And Senator Ginny Burdick told me she doesn't know when the Republicans will come back to work, but she says if they do return tomorrow, the Senate could really crank a lot of work out. Meanwhile, the governor has said she will call a special session if she has to. Back to you.